You don't hear this truth when you walk into a car dealership. Everything inside that building is designed to make you feel successful. The bright lights, the polished floors, the perfectly aligned rows of shiny new cars, and the smell of a brand new interior all work together to create excitement. It feels like progress. It feels like you're upgrading your life, but hidden inside that moment is one of the most dangerous financial traps millions of people fall into without realizing it: the car loan. You walk in thinking you're buying transportation, but what you're actually signing up for is a financial obligation that quietly drains your wealth for years. The salesperson greets you with confidence. They ask you what you're looking for, let you test drive the car, and highlight every feature that makes it feel irresistible. The technology, the comfort, the smooth ride, and the idea that this car somehow represents a better version of your life. Then comes the sentence that changes everything. Don't worry about the price. Let's just focus on the monthly payment. In that moment, the real cost disappears from the conversation. Instead of thinking about a $30,000 purchase, you start thinking about $400 per month, maybe $500, maybe $600. Suddenly it feels manageable. It feels normal. After all, it seems like everyone else has a car payment, so it must be fine. But that small monthly number hides a much bigger financial problem. Because the moment you drive a brand new car off the dealership lot, something brutal happens. The car instantly loses value. Not slowly and not gradually. Instantly. In many cases, a new car loses 10 to 20% of its value the moment you leave the dealership parking lot. Think about that for a second. You might have borrowed $30,000 to buy the car, but the moment you drive away, the car might only be worth $25,000. You owe more money than the car is worth. You're underwater on the very first day, and the payments are only beginning. Every month, the bank expects their money: $400, $500, sometimes even $700, depending on the car. And those payments don't last for 1 or 2 years. They last for 5 years, 6 years, sometimes even 7 years. That means for more than 70 months, money leaves your bank account every single month for something that is guaranteed to lose value. If someone offered you an investment where the value dropped every year, you would probably laugh and walk away. No rational investor would choose that. Yet millions of people unknowingly sign up for that exact situation when they finance a car. But the car payment itself is not even the biggest problem. The real damage is something most people never calculate: opportunity cost. That same $500 per month could be doing something very different. If it were invested instead of spent on a car loan, it could grow slowly at first and then faster over time. After 10 years, that monthly investment could turn into a powerful financial cushion. After 20 years, it could become life-changing money. But when that money goes toward a car loan, the opportunity disappears. The money doesn't grow. It simply vanishes into depreciation, interest, and dealership profit. The cycle rarely stops when the loan finally ends. In fact, for many people, that's exactly when the next trap begins. By the time the loan is paid off, the car is older and the warranty may be gone. Maintenance costs begin appearing: new tires, brake replacements, battery problems, unexpected repairs. The car that once felt exciting slowly becomes inconvenient. And right around that moment, something dangerous happens. You start looking at new cars again. Advertisements begin to look appealing. Dealerships promise upgrades and the better features. You hear phrases like, "Trade in your car today," or "Drive something better for a low monthly payment." The idea of upgrading suddenly feels reasonable, but behind the scenes, something very different is happening. The dealership takes your current car and rolls any remaining loan balance into the new loan. Your old debt quietly becomes part of the new payment. Now, you're financing the next car while still paying for the last one. The cycle begins again: new loan, new payment, another 6 years. This is how people end up making car payments for most of their adult lives without realizing it. It feels normal because everyone around them seems to be doing the same thing. But financially, it's like running on a treadmill. You keep moving, but you never really get anywhere. While those payments slowly drain your income, something else builds quietly in the background: stress. Every month that payment is waiting. No matter what happens in your life, the bank expects their money. If your job changes, if your income drops, or if an emergency appears, that payment is still there. When too many fixed expenses pile up, life becomes fragile. One unexpected bill can suddenly create panic. One medical expense, one car repair, or one bad month at work can throw everything off balance. This is why so many people live with a quiet financial anxiety, even if they don't talk about it. Even if they look successful from the outside. Deep down, they know a large portion of their income is already spoken for, and a big part of it is sitting in their driveway. Cars themselves are not the enemy. You need transportation, and for many people, a car is essential for work and daily life. The real problem appears when a car stops being a tool and starts becoming a symbol of success, status, or lifestyle. When that happens, people stop making rational financial decisions and start making emotional ones. They stretch their budgets, accept longer loans, and justify higher payments just to drive something more impressive. But the road from point A to point B doesn't care what car you drive. A reliable used car can travel that same road just as easily as a brand new one. The difference is what happens to your financial life while you drive it. Because the smartest financial move is often the least exciting. Buy a reliable used car, avoid massive loans, pay it off as quickly as possible, then keep driving it long after the payments disappear. Something powerful happens when you eliminate a car payment. Suddenly, hundreds of dollars every month stay in your pocket. $500 per month becomes $6,000 per year. Over 5 years, that's $30,000 that stays in your life instead of going to the bank. That money can build an emergency fund, grow through investments, and create stability. It gives you options, and options are one of the most valuable forms of wealth. There's also another hidden cost most people overlook when buying expensive cars: lifestyle inflation. When someone buys a more expensive car, other expenses quietly rise as well. Insurance costs increase, maintenance becomes more expensive, fuel costs often go up, and repairs usually cost more. Even routine services can become pricier. The car doesn't just cost you the monthly payment, it creates an entire ecosystem of expenses around it. Because these costs appear slowly over time, people often underestimate how much money is actually leaving their lives. Over 10 years, the difference between driving a modest used car and repeatedly financing new vehicles can easily reach tens of thousands of dollars, sometimes even over $100,000. That amount of money could completely transform someone's financial future. It could fund investments, eliminate debt, or build a powerful financial safety net. Instead, it disappears into something that loses value every single year. Years later, many people realize something uncomfortable. The expensive cars they once felt proud of are long gone, but the money they spent on them never comes back. Meanwhile, the people quietly building wealth often make very different choices. They drive simpler cars, keep vehicles longer, and focus less on appearance and more on financial stability. They understand something most people only learn much later in life: a car that impresses strangers will never be as valuable as financial freedom. Freedom means not worrying about payments every month. Freedom means having savings when emergencies appear. Freedom means having choices about your career and your life. It means not being trapped by financial obligations that follow you for years. Sometimes the difference between financial stress and financial freedom isn't how much money you earn. It's the decisions you make about what you finance. People who build wealth slowly tend to follow one simple rule. They avoid borrowing money for things that lose value. And cars are one of the fastest depreciating purchases you can make. That means the smartest financial decision might not be driving the most impressive car you can afford. It might be driving something simple, something reliable, and something nobody looks twice at in a parking lot. Because the real goal isn't impressing strangers. The real goal is building a life where money works for you instead of against you. And sometimes the decision that looks the least impressive on the outside is the one that quietly builds the strongest financial future: driving a car that no one is impressed by.